Hey guys, Mike Windland, Las Vegas, Nevada. This is my rear steer rock lizard.
Howdy freaking howdy, we got another one of them rock lizards from Fabin 801 out of Cedar City, Utah. This chassis is called the Sin City, and this just happens to be the first one ever built. If you're a rock lizard chassis fan and wondering why you don't see these on the orderable chassis list, it's because they're on the secret menu. Just like your favorite burger place, it may not be on the menu, but if you know what to ask for, you can get the goods. This rig is running an old trusty 22RE power plant with no major upgrades. Pretty much bone stock to keep it running as reliable and trail dependable as possible. The fuel system, however, has been upgraded to propane to keep it running on near straight up or straight down obstacles. First thing you'll notice about this rig is there's a Toyota amount of shifters in it. Not only is this one of very few rear steers I've seen running a 5-speed trans, this Toyota 5-speed R150 trans is hooked to a Marlin crawl box, which is hooked to an Atlas 4-3-1 transfer case. 16-inch Fox coilovers on all four corners with wide open design aluminum links holding the axles to the chassis. Front axle is a Ford Super 60 axle housing with Brannick 40 spline inners and chunky 1550 U-joints. Front steering is powered by a full hydro trail gear steering ram. If you guys follow our channel and recognize this buggy and thought it was a drag axle and wasn't a rear steer, well, you're right. Mike just threw down an entire new rear steer axle fabbed up by Forrest Wang at Get Nuts Laboratory. Rear is a fab trail gear housing, trussed and fabbed by Get Nuts. Inner shafts are Brannick 40 splines with chunky 1550 U-joints and 538 gearing with a spool, just like the front axle. However, rear has been upgraded to a PSC ram with both rams powered by a CBR pump. Both sides of the axles have Pro-Comp beadlocks, and those beadlocks are wrapped up in super thick but rugged 43-inch TSL SX stickies, and it's got wheelwood brakes for stopping power against all that low gear and massive tire setup. Creeping into the cockpit of this rig, right out of the gate you're going to see that it is built for visibility. Small center console that houses the gauges and shields you from the motor. On either side of the console you have windows to be able to see both front tires. Floorboards are made out of expanded steel so you can see exactly what's going on underneath you. The beard seats in this rig look just like old school Vegas furniture, which is a rad touch to the Sin City chassis. This cockpit is surprisingly roomy inside and only has what you need and nothing that you don't. Well, besides the remote for the killer sound system that includes an 8-inch sub, this thing is absolutely set up to party. This rig is sitting at a humble 110 wheelbase and has the iconic rock lizard cutting board boat sides that act like slick lizard scales to slide over rocks with less friction. My favorite accessory on this rig, hands down, is the Ret Gear Sacket trash bag. It's a sure sign that this rig contributes to cleaning up trash to keep our trails clean. Now that we know what this rig has for parts, let's see how it does on the rocks. If you watch any of our other videos from Sand Hollow, you'll recognize this as my arch nemesis called King's Crack. What better way to see how this rig works other than this obstacle right here, especially being in a manual transmission. We all know that video just doesn't give anything justice, and this crack is nearly straight vert, and if you reach the top, you're 3 stories high, not to mention you're riding on either side of your sidewalls on the sides of the crack. It's hard to imagine that he's driving a stick shift and a clutch up such a technical vertical obstacle. This is where that Atlas transfer case and that Marlin gearbox really come into play. He reaches the top, no issues. So far, this rig is showing it's built for the big stuff. Let's see how it does on some other obstacles. Watching it tackle this obstacle really shows the geometry is super dialed on this rig, especially running coilovers. Coilovers give you the best ride to and from the trails, but on highly technical trails, they tend to unload and can really put you in a bad spot if you don't have your spring rate and link geometry dialed. You can also see that the Atlas is doing work using the rear and front dig to position itself on the turn at the top of this waterfall. Rock Lizards have been the go-to chassis due to being lightweight, simple, and affordable. They really got their popularity in being able to take all your good parts from your clapped out full body rig and throw it into their chassis, making it the easiest way to transition into a buggy. As time went on, they've been adding new and different chassis to meet specific needs, like a 4-seater and XL model, and they continue to grow and dial in their chassis. They will also work with you. For instance, this chassis was heavily influenced by Mike and all of his needs and wants and looks that he wanted to incorporate in it. We're also seeing more and more rear steers just like this one, showing that they are more than capable of being a rear steer buggy. I really like the style that Fab and 801 and their Lizard chassis have, as they are really made to be affordable and easy to evolve and fit almost any style of wheeling you want to get into. I'm going to shut up and stop talking so that way we can take a moment to really appreciate how nasty this crack is. Big thanks to Mike, aka Where We Wheelin', for letting us take a peek up this rad machine skirt and getting an in-depth look on what this Sin City chassis from Fab and 801 is all about. Best way to support this video is by giving the subscribe button a little skiddly-doo, diddle that notification bell, leave this video a fat finger, and also leave a dirty little comment. As always, thanks for watching.